Now, Chief of the Staff of the Philippine Armed Forces, Romeo, Brawner, also said Manila is keen for South Korea to join the Squad, an informal security grouping of the Philippines, Australia, Japan and the United States established in 2024. He said of South Korea, "We believe they also have a stake in the security aspect of the region." Brawner said he also supports a visiting forces agreement with South Korea, something that South Korea's ambassador to the Philippines confirmed Seoul was giving thought to in September 2024. Professor Guo, so let's talk about South Korea. What does the addition of South Korea contribute to the Squad that it doesn't already have?
The situation been a little bit different as we are talking right now. Before 2025, it was President Yoon's administration. He was quite keen to improve or to increase security relations, not only with Japan or the US, but also with the Philippines, sometimes even with Taiwan. But again, with this indictment of President Yoon, the domestic politics situation in South Korea becoming quite different. And I would say maybe this June or July, South Korea will have a presidential election. And from current situation, the Chairman Lee of Democratic Party in South Korea is gonna win the election. And he has very different political ideology.
Right.
And so I think after he run the government, Mr. Lee run the government, he will put a stronghold to stop cooperation with the Philippines. Right. So the delivery of 2 frigates from South Korea to the Philippines might be the end of the bilateral security cooperation. Although President Yoon already signed this strategic partnership agreement with the Filipino government, but again, Mr. Lee has very different foreign policy view with President Yoon. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So, Tony, do you see this as Brawner appealing to South Korea? These countries together, the Squad, have shared interests in this region for security.
Yes, absolutely. And I suspect Philippines will also request the United States to use its leverage to maintain the Squad. And because Filipinos know the more alliances they can get into, as they have done in the last 2 years, with some kind of agreement, various kinds of agreement, even with UK and Canada, and certainly with Japan. And so it's hoping that it could get Korea also involved. Their relationship with Korea is actually fairly good, like I mentioned, the fighter purchase and things. So they're hoping to maintain that even through the next presidential election. And so absolutely, Philippines is hoping Korea would join and be concerned with its security.
Right, okay. Now, according to a report by the Navy News, satellite images in January reveal that China's Guangzhou shipyard is likely constructing a new unreported type of submarine. The vessel is approximately 45 meters long and 5 meters wide, with large X-form rudders and no sail. China remains the only country known to have built sailless submarines. Okay, so there's no sail, there's X-form rudders. What are these features for?
ASW, anti-submarine warfare, is actually quite critical for China to push this A280 strategic concept. So we think the picture, the lessons from Ukrainian battles, we could see the importance of drones, especially attacking surface vessels. So 2 domains are becoming more and more important after the lesson from Ukrainian war. One is space, the other is underwater. So I believe that's a reason why with the technological breakthrough of AI, so you put it together, that's the reason why China is putting so much attention to underwater warfare.
Right. And Tony, why has this submarine been called unreported? There's kind of a secretive element to it. How does the West or other countries do it differently?
Well, this submarine is kind of strange because it is too large to be an unmanned submarine, and it's too small to be a manned submarine. And its feature indicates it's probably an unmanned submarine. And
it's probably a
unmanned submarine. Because if it's manned, it requires certain sustainment system, such as water processing, waste processing, mass lodging, and certainly you need some kind of things for you to be able to observe and stuff. And in the U.S., when you look at unmanned submarine, or actually around the world, unmanned submarines are used for surveillance, for decoy, and for intelligence collection, for removal of underwater mines and stuff. So they're not that big, okay? They're not used as shooters. Like this submarine appears to have torpedo tubes. Submarine, it's very hard to identify friend and foe underwater. So if you don't have positive control, positive rules of engagement, an unmanned submarine can shoot your own ships, your own submarines. So if you want to maintain such tight command and control, then you need some kind of linkage with the command control unit. Then the submarine will expose its position. So you want to remain stealthy. Usually that's why a manned submarine, they have human in the middle. As they detect certain things, they can determine is this friend or foe.
Right.
Now, can an AI help it? Sure it can, but final decision to kill, I think you still need a man in the loop. So to have an unmanned submarine that big, carry torpedo, it makes the world wonder, what is China doing?
So you're saying that the size is in order to carry the torpedoes and more of them?
It looks like it, from the graphic picture, it looks like it has torpedo tubes in front. You know, like I said, if it's unmanned with torpedo, it's a dangerous weapon system to themselves, not only to others, but to themselves too. So does China have a doctrine, has a strategy, has a tactics developed for a weapon system like that? So I think that's why the rest of the world is wondering, thinking the same way. So what is it for?
Yeah, there's too many questions.
Too many questions.
About this. Let's move on to essentially the detection of these submarines. Professor Guo, I'll stay on you. So China has developed a so-called Great Underwater Wall. Is meant to be based or modeled on the US's SOSUS, which is a sound surveillance system. I believe it's been renamed to IUSS, Integrated Undersea Surveillance System. And it's basically a surveillance system which is both underwater but also surface ships, there's cables, sensors, sonar, drones, to monitor activities. How effective do we know this network to be? And how much progress do you think the US is making? In 2023, it announced that it would revive its network.
I believe it's realistically it's quite difficult because the system of the US is basically jointly cooperate with a lot of countries because you want to put all these sensors in right locations. Sometimes, or most of the time, it's locates in other countries easy, sometimes even territorial waters, when the location is very geostrategically important. And I do not see any, Beijing has that kind of political capacity, for example, to position sensors, Pacific Channel, or all these important waterways surrounding South China Sea. So I think it's pretty much still a concept, but realistically, especially when it comes to political reality, I do not think those countries will support China's plan. Yeah.
Tony, your assessment?
Well, almost the entire system of underwater surveillance is classified. So I don't want to get into it. However, it is a robust system. It is a system because you got the sensors. They detect some kind of information. If you don't have a database to analyze that information and say what just went by, it's nothing. Okay. So the U.S. has an entire system in place for many years, and you're correct. It just went through a major upgrade, and also new locations. It's a critical piece of our surveillance system. We want to know, especially when the Chinese ballistic missile submarine, things that carry nuclear missiles that can hit the United States, leave port and go through some choke points. we want to know, and we will have somebody there waiting for him and track him, because this is something that can threaten the homeland. You know, an attack submarine, it shoots other ships. It's okay. You know, the damage is limited. But these missile-equipped submarines are the ones that, you know, we will maintain tracking. And this is a system that we count on to help us.
And China wants the same thing, though, Tony. So
China already has it.
How far, do you think that their system?
See, once again, they might have a sensor. Do they have the data to support it? You know, and that's the question. How good are they in the data that they have? Do they have the data? You know, obviously, U.S. continuously update and listen. Whenever they have a new ship, new submarine come out, we have things that listen for it, and make sure that become part of the library, and all the submarines and all the other anti-submarine system gets updated. Does China has such robust? I don't know. I haven't had access to classified stuff for over 10 years, so I don't know.